right, I am back in Indianapolis, and since we have already taken a first look review of the Lexus GX, I figured we would take a road trip review this time around because we're heading back to Chicago. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the creature comforts and we'll talk about fuel economy. So let's take a road trip right now. All right, before we take off, I just wanted to take a quick look at this right here. I have 324 miles until my tank is empty, and then I've zeroed out my fuel economy, and so I have 0.0 miles per gallon right now. So over 200 miles, we will see what my fuel tank indicator goes down to and what my average fuel economy is. If you feel like making a guess right now, feel free to comment below. What do you think I will get over 200 miles of mostly highway driving in the Lexus GX? All right, we are now at the halfway point of our road trip, so I figured this would be the perfect time to give a couple of driving impressions. And if you watched our first look review, one of the things that I commented on was the fact that I really like the visibility out of all of the windows. This has a more upright stance, so the windows are more upright, which means there's just more glass to be able to see out of. You know, I like the thinness of this side mirror. It doesn't block four-way stops when you're in the city, but it still gives really good view out of the side to see when somebody is in your blind spot. So I like the mirrors, I like the windows, and I like my overall driving position. It's comfortable, you know, I'm sitting far enough away from the steering wheel, but again, still have the good visibility and closeness when I need closeness. So I can reach all of the gauges and controls over here, and this is just a good position. Now, the other thing I want to say is I'm going on, you know, I had 3 hours in the vehicle yesterday, and now I have an hour and a half in the vehicle, and even though these seats are a little bit firm, I want to say they're still really comfortable. My butt doesn't hurt when I get out of the vehicle. And I asked my husband if his butt hurt, and he said it didn't hurt either. So you have two unhurt butts in the front seat after 4.5 hours. So I'm going to give that a thumbs up as well. Now, a couple of things that I do want to say that I didn't notice on the first drive. First off, because this windscreen is so upright, it captures all of the bugs, like literally all of the bugs, and there is nothing I can do save like go to a gas station and get a scraper and start scrubbing stuff off. I've tried, you know, using the windshield wipers and the windshield wiper fluid, and yeah, it just and it's literally speckled. So that's a little bit of a downside because of the upright stance, but visibility, I mean, if you can see around the bug guts. What else do I really like? Apple CarPlay has worked really well on this vehicle, and I've been using Waze, which has been amazing. And yeah, so I like the infotainment system. I think they finally got most of the bugs worked out. We know from when we had the Toyota Tundra and some other vehicles at the beginning, there were a lot of bugs in this infotainment system. But so far I haven't had any problems connecting or staying connected, and it has done everything that I've needed it to do. One more thing that I guess I want to say is this, I'm in adaptive cruise control right now, and it works really well, and it's a lot more like a natural driving system. So sometimes, like you probably didn't notice, but somebody just pulled in front of me, and the vehicle just kind of slowed down. It didn't like slam on the brakes and like, you know, jerk me forward. But it did a really good job of just kind of slowing down more naturally the way I would do if somebody pulled in front of me. So I've enjoyed the system here as well. The one thing that I will say is I noticed on our way out I was drinking coffee, and I kept, you know, like going like this to drink my coffee, and every time I would take a sip of coffee, the driver alert system would come on, and it would be like, do you need a break? Driver inattention noted, you know, look forward. And I'm like, I'm looking forward while I'm drinking my coffee, but apparently that wasn't good enough. So I will say, while I think most of the safety systems on this vehicle are really good, that is one that I would probably turn off, because every time I took a sip of coffee was just a little bit annoying for it to tell me, driver inattention. However, I will say, while I've been doing this video, I'm apparently paying attention enough because I haven't gotten the driver inattention warning once. So that is just some brief driving impressions about what's going on here. overall, still really like the vehicle, very comfortable. And yeah, so there are some things that are going to get a thumbs down for the road trip, but visibility and comfort, that's not one of them. So we'll check in when we get back to Chicago. All right, I have made it back to Chicago, and I'm going to talk about 3 things that were not so great about this road trip. First up, let's talk about the fuel economy. So I will say the range estimator was pretty solid. So we went about 196 miles, you can see that, and we still have 125 miles of fuel left. So the range itself was pretty good, but this right here did not live up to the EPA estimates. You should be getting about 21 miles per gallon on the highway, and this was all highway driving, and I got 18.5 miles per gallon. We had maybe 4 miles of city driving. When I got off the highway, it was at 18.6. So that didn't go so well. And the other thing I want to talk about is cup holders, because the cup holder situation was a little less than ideal as well, because this right here is my primary water bottle, but I had coffee earlier, and so I had my coffee cup in that cup holder, and this doesn't fit down here. Like, even if my seat weren't in a far forward position, it's not fitting in this thing. So what I ended up doing is literally just kind of shoving it between my seat and the door, which is, again, not ideal, because yeah, if an accident happens, that's just not good. But at any rate, so the cup holders were a little bit ish for a road trip as well. You can see you have bottle holders in the door, but it's really going to fit like a smaller bottle or a, yeah, and I just put my chapstick down there, so oops. It's holding the bottle in there, it's just chapstick. Okay, so it'll hold a smaller bottle in there, but it's not gonna hold my Yeti. And if you have like open container, like coffee cups in here, you're gonna want those there. You're not gonna wanna put them in there, and then this has no place to go. So the cup holder situation was just a little bit ish in here. And then the final thing I wanna talk about is, yeah, you guessed it, this right here. And it's not all bad news, I'm gonna be honest with you. So there were some good things about this, but the shape of it is not it. This is really a weird shape, and I have an iPhone Pro, not a Pro Max, just a regular Pro, and it kind of sat sideways in here. So if you have a bigger phone than what I have, that is gonna be problematic for that purpose and just fitting in here and being able to charge. Now, the other thing that I wanna talk about with this is it did heat up my phone. It did heat up my phone, but it never stopped charging. Now, it didn't get my phone all the way up to full charge, but it never stopped charging my phone, and it never shut down the system. So even though it did heat up my phone, it didn't overheat it, and that was over a 3-hour period. So I will give that just a little bit of a win right there. So fuel economy, meh. Cup holder situation, meh. Phone charger, it's kind of ish. All right, that's it. That is what I have for you today on the Lexus GX road trip test. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you down the road.